hope that you are all doing super duper well and that you're having a really good week.
How's your week been, Hannah?
Wow, mine's been good. How's yours been?
My week has been great, but you know what is making it even better?
What?
That we get to chat a little bit more about our Kingdom Builders series. We are on week 3, and I've really enjoyed the last 2 weeks, haven't you?
So have I. It has been fantastic.
What are we talking about this week, Hannah?
Well, this week we're going to be taking a look at worship.
That is so exciting. Kids, are you excited to hear about worship? I know I am. You know what my favorite part about this whole series has been?
What?
I have loved following the story of those 3 princesses.
Oh, that has been so cool.
It has been so interesting. So I think we should just go and check out that now. I mean, let's go see what drama they're getting into.
That is a great idea.
All right, over to the drama.
Wow, guys, I had such a great time at the ball.
Yeah, me too. It was just so nice getting to know people who knew Dad. I just found it so interesting, and I feel like I learned so much more about him.
Yeah, you know, being with other people that know Dad made me feel so much closer to him.
Yeah.
Bella, I'm so glad you got back from your quest in time to join us for the ball.
Me too. You know, I think it was exactly what we needed. And you know what happened that I feel like I really, really missed and was so good to have in the kingdom? The instruments, the music, the sound that they make. It was just, it was beautiful. And I think I realized how much I missed that and how empty it feels here and quiet it is without the piano going all the time.
I know, right? It's been so quiet and empty. Remember when Dad was here? The castle was so full of sounds. What do we do? Remember when he used to play piano for us and he would put me on his lap and he'd get me to press a key or two?
Yeah.
And he would make these really incredible sounds and all this music and...
Well, I've been making all different notes on, you know, the scrolls and things, and it's just such a pity that we don't have a book to learn how to play the piano from. I think it would be quite nice. I don't think Dad's instructions include how to play the piano.
Maybe it says something about someone who does?
That's a good idea. Let me see. Okay. Oh, yeah! When the air feels empty and no one is in the chair, call on the mighty musician from his field, so fair. He will sit and play for you, and it will be as if I were there.
Which means...
Well, I think we need to find a musician in a field.
Sounds like it. Well, I suppose there's not much more to do. I wonder which field though. There's so many fields. You know what? Let's just divide and conquer.
Conquer. This isn't a battle, you know, Bella.
But it is a quest. Bella, I think we need to divide and conquer, just like you said. I think you're right. I think our best bet is to split up. I think Lily and I should go and check the fields on the west side of the castle, and Bella, you need to go and check the fields on the east side of the castle. All right, let me check that we haven't missed any instructions. No. Okay. Musician in a field. Let's go.
pretty music.
Pretty music? Yeah, where are you hearing pretty music?
I think it's coming from... Look over there!
Oh my goodness! Is that the mighty musician? Yay!
Hello, princesses. Such an honor to see you. What brings you this side of the field?
Well, we miss our dad, and the castle has been so empty, and there's been no music, and it's just really sad.
And look, our father's instructions led us to you. Your music is so wonderful. It reminds us of him and brings us so much cheer. Do you think you could come and play at the castle?
Oh, that would be an honor. I even know some of the songs that your father used to play for you while you were children. I'm sure if I played some of them for you, he would be pleased.
Really? Would you do that?
Yes, my princess.
I can't wait to tell Bella that we found you. Let's go!
Let's go.
So the princesses made their way home to the castle with the mighty musician by their side. He would sit and play beautiful songs that their father, the king, wrote. It brought them so much cheer, and for those moments, it felt like their dad was near.
Wow, that was insane. I love music.
So do I. It is so beautiful and like so cool.
I'm just so excited to hear more about this musician and just like see more about the princesses, and wow, it was so great. But now I feel like getting a little bit more serious.
I think that's a really good idea. And you know, I feel like we should do that by listening to a story and learning some more about what worship's all about.
That would be really, really cool. I think we should hand over to Nicole for this week's teaching. Over to you, Nicole.
Hey boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the drama and what happened today with the three princesses. You know, it got me thinking about how they needed the sound of music around and how important that was to them. And it reminded me just of how important it is for us to have worship in our lives. And it's not just listening to songs or singing songs, but it's so much more. So it got me thinking, and I was thinking of how empty and sad the castle felt without the music, and how empty and sad things can be for us when we don't have worship in our lives. And you might be wondering, well, why do we worship? And the thing is, boys and girls, it's not just because it's fun or we need a little bit of music or something like that in our lives. Worship is so much more. So why do we worship? Well, it's because we love God. God is amazing, and He has done so much to deserve our praise that no matter what is happening, God is always deserving our praise. Even in the saddest times, God has done the most incredible thing, and that is He has saved us from our sins, and He's forgiven us for all of the things that we've done wrong, and boys and girls, that we're going to do wrong in our lives. And I think that's so incredible. The other day I was feeling upset about something that I'd done, and I felt like very sad about what I'd done and that God wasn't happy with it, and I was asking God for His forgiveness, and I felt God just say to me, Nicole, I forgave you for that before you even knew that I existed. And I thought that was just so incredible. So number one, boys and girls, we worship because we love God. Number two, we worship God because He deserves it. And just like I was saying, He's done so much for us. And this is the thing, boys and girls, God doesn't need us to worship Him, but He wants us to, because He has done so much to earn that, and because he is so incredible and so wonderful. You know, I think of when my parents do something really wonderful for me, they don't need me to say thank you. They don't need me to be happy and appreciate them for what they've done, but because of what they've done, and it's so wonderful, they deserve for me to say thank you in my words or my actions. So that's the second point. So 1, love God is the first reason. Number 2, God deserves it. Number 3, it brings us joy. One of the things that I love is that when I sing to God and I thank him for everything he's done, and I praise him for who he is and who he is to me, it brings me so much joy. Even when I've had a sad day, my heart is filled with joy because I know who God is. So 1, because we love God. 2, because he deserves it. And 3, because it brings joy. Then the 4th reason is because God tells us to. He says that he deserves it, and for what he's done we should worship him, and so we want to worship him. And it may sound a bit weird for someone to go, worship me. But you know, boys and girls, God is the creator of the whole universe, and he has that place. He can say that kind of thing. But not only that, when he talks about us worshiping him, it's not just singing a song. So you might go, well, what is worship? Boys and girls, worship is when we give God thanks, honor, and glory through song, through words, through actions, through thoughts. It's so much more than just singing a song. And singing a song is important, but in the Bible we hear about how the way we live our lives is actually how we worship God. And so in the way that we think, in the way that we speak, in the way that we act, that is how we can worship God. And God loves it, and he appreciates it, and he loves us, and he is so pleased when we do that. And I think that's just so exciting and so wonderful to know. So worship. Why do we worship God? Because we love him, because he's amazing, because he deserves it, because of what he's done, because it brings us joy, and because God commands it. Because worship is so much more than singing a song. It is living a life that wants to honor God, that wants to please God, that wants to bring him glory and say thank you for everything he's done. Wow, boys and girls, I think that's so incredible, and I hope you learn more about this in our memory verse for today. Bye!
Don't mind us, just
Hanging out. Right, kids, that was a super cool teaching. I hope you all learned a lot. But now, I think we need to go over to me for
the memory verse.
Yay! I'm so excited. Over to Hannah.
Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to our memory verse time. So as you would have seen in the last 2 weeks, we have been focusing on the same memory verse, and we will be continuing to focus on the same memory verse today, which is Acts 2 verse 42. Last week we focused on the words fellowship and breaking of bread, and how these refer to the relationships and time we spend with other Christians, as well as spending time eating together. We spoke about how it is important to grow our relationships with other Christians. It's also important that we remember why this verse is important. This is because it tells us about the lives of the early Christians and the foundations they used to build their lives upon. For this week, we have been looking at worship. So the words we are going to look at today are devoted, teaching, fellowship, and prayer. Firstly, the word devoted means to be committed to something. As Christians, we should be devoted to worshiping God every day. The word teaching refers to learning more about God. When we learn more about God, we worship him. Next is the word fellowship. When we love one another, that is worship to God, because it blesses him and makes him happy. Finally, we have prayer. We worship God as we talk to him and pray to him. Now, we are going to see if we can try and remember those words. As you can see, the memory verse is up on the screen right now. Each time we go through the verse, one of the words will disappear, and I want you to try and remember it when that happens. Okay, let's say it together for one time before the words start disappearing. So say it with me. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Great. Now we are going to say it, and our first word is going to disappear. They themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayer. Great. The missing word was devoted. Now let's take away another word. They themselves to the apostles and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Good job! The missing words were devoted and teaching. Let's take away another word. They themselves to the apostles and to the breaking of bread and to pray. Nice work! The missing words were devoted, teaching, and fellowship. Now let's take away one last word. They themselves to the apostles and to the breaking of bread and to. Well done, boys and girls. The missing words were devoted, teaching, fellowship, and prayer. Now don't forget to keep on learning this verse.
You know what I think we should do next with the kids? I think we should have a pillow fight! It's great! I'm choking on my hair. My goodness.
Maybe we don't do a pillow fight, and maybe we go to the testimony.
Okay, we can go to... Whoa! The kids have been watching!
Oh.
The whole time! Hannah!
Sorry.
Hey kids, did you just see that entire pillow fight? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so we are now gonna go over to our testimony, which is a really cool story from a person that we know in our church. And so today's testimony is gonna be from a friend of ours called James. I hope you guys enjoy it. Over to James.
How's it, guys? I hope you're doing well and that you're staying healthy, COVID free. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is James. I'm one of the worship leaders at the 6 p.m. service. I just got asked to share a little bit about what worship means to me. And this is quite an easy thing for me to speak about because I just love worship so much. It's been such a tool in my life that I've been able to use, and God's gifted me in a way to worship Him musically. But yeah, just going back, and I was thinking about what is one of my earliest memories of worship. And I think it was about grade 3 to 7, that age group. We used to do worship in the South Hall. And there was this one song, and some of you may even know it, it's called Oh Happy Day. It goes, oh happy day, you wash my sin away, oh happy day. And it's a song, it even sounds happy, the song sounds happy, and I just remember being filled with joy whenever I sang that song. And I didn't necessarily understand everything that I was singing, and understand the magnitude of what Jesus had done on the cross, but there really was a sense of celebration. And I remember going buck wild in the South Hall. Me and a couple of my naughty friends would run around and just worship. And I think as I've grown older, it's matured in a way. I don't go around doing handstands all through in the adult service because I think that would be frowned upon, even though it's perfectly fine. And that's probably how we should be worshiping, because God has done some awesome stuff. But I think as we grow older, we get a deeper appreciation for what Jesus has done, and that is exactly what worship is. Worship is just glorifying God. It's actually got nothing to do with the music. It's got all to do with God and who He is, so we can worship God for who He is and say, you are holy, you are worthy, and you'll learn all these things about God and you'll just declare them. And then it's also like an expression of thankfulness, like we're all sinners. I've sinned, you've sinned, and we're acknowledging that, and we're saying, Lord, thank you that you sent Jesus to die on a cross, so that we can be saved. And I think that's another awesome thing we can celebrate when we worship. There's a song, I can't remember who it's by, but it says, if it's not going to be you and me, it's going to be a rock and a tree that worships God. And that's the thing. Creation is worshiping God because He created everything. And so who are we not to be worshiping God? We are part of His creation. And so yeah, I just want to encourage you guys. Worship is something that's meant to be done with joy and passion. It really is sad when you see people sitting on pews, and unfortunately a lot of us are responsible for this, including myself. When you sit back and you sort of just don't appreciate worship. But I encourage you, get out and be active and actively display your passion for God, and be filled with joy when you worship. And yeah, joy is just worship is just such an amazing thing we can use to worship and glorify God. So yeah, I encourage you next time you worship just to go buck wild and sing the lyrics, and yeah, just really be full of joy for God. Yeah.
You thought that was the end? Well, it's not.
This is the end.
This is the end. Kids, it was awesome journeying with you guys this week. I hope you join us again next week for week number 4 to see all the cool things we have in store for you. I really enjoyed this week.
So did I. And we're not even done yet, because after this video ends, we have some worship songs in the playlist.
Go check them out and see you guys next week. Bye!